This video was made possible with support from viewers like you. If you find this video useful, consider becoming a patron for as little as $1 a month at patreon.com/FastGadgets. Alright, welcome back, Gadgeteers. If you haven't figured it out, I'm outside camping, so I decided to take a little trip. This time I'm alone. I do have my puppies with me. Let's see if I can show you Meadow down here. Hey Meadow, say hello for everybody. Meadow! Yeah, so Meadow's a little bit afraid of being out and about. Pixie helps her a lot. Where's my Pix? Pixie? Pixie? Come here, baby. Come here. Whoa! Whoa, there we go. And here's my little buddy Pixie. These are my traveling companions as well as my alarm systems. So I stay in that little tent back there, and you know, where I am, I'm kind of out in the boonies, doing what's called dispersed camping. So what is dispersed camping? Well, basically what it is, I'm going to let you back down, okay? Go get a rabbit or something. Basically, in the state that I live in, what dispersed camping is the ability to get a free permit, and you can go out and camp anywhere on a state forest, or of course you can camp on a national forest, and you don't even need a permit for that. But I found a state forest that is about 1 hour and 15 minutes away from my home, so I took a little hike up north, got my camp set up, got my dogs here, and what I figured we would talk about is the technology that I bring when I go camping. So I've got a couple of different things that I bring that I'm going to talk about, and I think a lot of it will be useful for you, especially if you want to go off-grid. Where I am right now, of course, I don't have any type of internet access, so everything I bring with me basically is predicated on the thought that, hey, I'm not going to have internet access, but I do want to have some technology with me to do different things. The system that I'm recording on right now is my Samsung Galaxy Note 4, which does a great job recording. I bring my iPhone for communication purposes. It also has a very, very nice camera in it, so I've got that if I need it. And I actually have a full bag of technology, so I'm going to start pulling things out one at a time and explaining what I do with them. I got a couple of different things here. So the first thing is I have 2 sports cameras. These are very much like a GoPro camera, but they're not. They're knockoffs. Now, this one does not have stabilization in it, but I brought it anyway because it actually works really well for a wide angle, and it has a pretty good quality image on it. And I have another one in here. Now this one I really like because it has stabilization in it. So it's got a couple of different stabilization modes, so when I'm walking around and doing things, basically I can rely on this one. I can just put it on my chest mount that I brought with me, and the minute you power this camera on, this is another thing I really like about it, the minute you power that camera on, it starts recording immediately. I'm sure that's a setting I can turn off, but I actually like that feature because if there was something going on here and I wanted to get it really fast, I could just turn on the camera, boom, and I would start recording. So very useful. So those little sports cams, the battery in them is good for about 1 hour to 90 minutes. It is a 3.7 volt lithium ion battery, 1000 milliamp hour, 3.885 watt hour. So what I also bring with me is a small charger. I have 3 batteries. I should have 4, but I couldn't find the other one, so I've got 4 of these, so at any given time I'll be charging batteries. How do I do that, you might ask? Well, I got a couple of different ways I can do it. One, I can charge it off of my car because it's just a micro USB plug-in. The other way is to use my portable battery that I also have. Yeah, what's wrong, honey? Well, I guess Pixie wanted to come back up. She didn't like the bugs. Don't knock my headphones off, okay? I know, honey, I know. There you go, I got you. Okay, so we were talking about a battery. What I have here is a 10,400 milliamp hour battery, and you can see by the glowing dots, I still have 4 dots there. The cool thing about this is it can actually take 2 devices at one time, and I have some other technology I'm going to show you in a minute, and I am actually able to charge my cell phone, I would say 4 to 5 times on this battery. It lasts a long time. I have a little light I can power with it. I've got all kinds of technology. And of course, if I needed to recharge it and I was desperate, I can go ahead and recharge this battery using the connection I have in my car. So this battery is called the X2 Power, and I got this from Batteries and Bulbs Plus. I don't know if anybody knows what a Batteries Plus is, but I have a friend who owns it, so often I will go ahead and buy technology I need from him. All right, the next piece of technology that I bring is my Samsung Galaxy Note 2014 edition tablet. I've got it turned off right now. I'm trying to save power. This is probably, believe it or not, the most important piece of technology I bring as far as navigation goes. So the cell phone provider that I use when I get north of Bay City, basically I no longer have any internet. So what I do with this tablet is I download to Google Maps all the maps I'm going to need, and I'm able to use that to get to certain points, and I can put in longitude and latitude, and then I'm able to actually find specific locations that I'm looking for. The other thing I do is go to the Department of Natural Resources and I download, usually they're PDFs, but these PDFs are super duper high detail PDFs. So what I'm able to do is I can zoom in really close on parts of the map, and I can see elevations and basically the lay of the land in the state forest and what I'm going to find there. It's much easier to see on this than it is on this tiny little iPhone screen, which I'm sure you can imagine. Now, I'm very nearsighted, so if I pull my glasses down, I can get this thing to within an inch of my face, and I can pretty much see detail, but it's a very small area. Now, what I did was I'd find the areas that I want to go. I would save the Google Map equivalent offline, and then I could use the GPS positioning, because this has GPS built in, of course, and there's all kinds of 2-tracks through the state forest, and I wanted to get close to a watershed area where this creek is and this river meet, and so I could use GPS on this map and I could see exactly where I was going. Now, one of the downsides is on the other side of the watershed, about 5 miles east of here, I went down a 2-track for, I would say, 30 to 40 minutes. Now, you might say, big deal. Well, I didn't bring my truck. I brought my Honda Civic. My wife has the truck. Long story. So I'm very good at driving my Civic through 2-tracks and fields and forests and all kinds of things. And I've taken my little car basically everywhere. It's a 4-door, old 2003. And anyway, I got down this 2-track, and there was a gate all the way in, and it was closed off, so I couldn't get into the river. And the reason was that there was erosion taking place, so they had to block that particular area. So I had to come all the way back out along the 2-track for another half hour and then go down a very, very bad road. They're called forest roads, but basically, I don't know what to give you as an equivalent. I mean, it's very rustic. There's no houses, nobody, nothing, and the road is garbage. There's a sign that says extremely rough road ahead, so we're talking about potholes and pitfalls, you know, that are easily 1 to 2 feet deep, so you have to swerve around. You can only drive about 10 miles an hour. Anyway, so that's what this is for. This was probably the smartest thing that I brought with me. All right, Pix, I'm going to have to let you down. I got to get the next piece of technology, baby. All right. Although I'm not using it right now, you know, I bring several mics as well as tripods. I actually have my Note 4 set up on a tripod. One of the things I like to do when I'm out and about in nature is to set up the tripod and take some footage in 4K, and then I create a video which I'll put up. A lot of you probably aren't interested, but anyway, tripods. I also have microphones. This is a tripod that I brought all kinds of different mounts. This mount, of course, is for my sports cams, GoPro light cams. Now, I do bring out my Yoga 920, but here's the bummer about that. Even though it has USB-C charging here, I have tried to charge the battery in this using my portable battery and a cable that goes to USB-C, but for some reason this doesn't charge. But I don't really need it all that much. Now, if I was still teaching online, what I usually would do is go find a restaurant and sit there and use their internet and do my online teaching for the day. So why I have the Yoga 920 right now is to transfer footage to it and take a look at it and see how good the footage I'm taking is. And I really don't do much editing when I'm out in the woods because I'm trying to enjoy the woods, you know what I mean? So I don't want to have to sit around and do a whole bunch of editing. So I really just have it so I can view the footage. I have a couple of movies on here that I can watch. Also, I wanted to mention I downloaded some Netflix because you can do offline now to my tablet. I don't know if I'm going to watch it. I have a couple of books to read. There was one book that I'm reading, and I would say still reading because I stopped reading it last year. I'm going to finish it. About the man who walked through the Grand Canyon back in the 60s. This is an absolutely fascinating book. It's called The Man Who Walked Through Time, Colin Fletcher. Very good book. Why didn't I finish it then? Well, I broke my leg and it was a summertime reading book for me. Oh, what else do I have in my bag of tricks here? Now, this is only my technology stuff that I'm showing you. I do have other things, but mainly it's the technology that I'm showing you. Now, depending on who you are and where you are, you may not need the type of technology I'm about to show you, but there's always a tiny chance where I am right now that I might encounter a bear. But I'll be honest, where I am, the chance is very, very small. Now, if I was to go up into the Upper Peninsula, there would be a lot better chance. You're going to more than likely encounter a bear. And there's certain things you do with your sight to avoid any problems with animals. So one of the issues that I have is that I'm actually sitting on a game trail. So you probably can't see, but past my fire pit there is a game trail that goes off into the watershed. Now, because it's summer, that watershed is actually pretty dried out, so animals can traverse it. They can come across the watershed. And, you know, there is a game trail here where they do that. Now, I looked at the tracks, and they're all deer tracks, so I'm not really that worried. I've spent a lot of time outdoors, and I got really lucky because I got to hang out with my brother and go outdoors with him a lot. So I learned how to check the lay of the land, look for, sign of animals, deer rub on the trees, scat on the ground, tracks, the age of tracks. So I feel real comfortable out in nature. This is something that I'm quite used to. But anyway, aside from a 9mm that I bring, which is like my daily carry firearm, I do bring also a .44 Magnum. Now, right now this is unloaded, so I'm just going to show you that. So completely unloaded. This is a 5-shot, and this particular firearm is something I take with me when I'm in the woods. Like I said, highly unlikely I'm going to need something like this. But what I'm going to do a little bit later today, I actually only got about another hour and a half of light left. I'm going to clean this up and load it and just put it in my tent for tonight and keep it with me. I don't worry quite as much during the day. But normally I have this already loaded. But in this particular area where I'm at, I'm not too worried. But anyway, that's another piece of technology that I bring with me. And again, it's all dependent on who you are, on whether or not you think you need something like that. I don't think it's vital. If you're camping, of course, in a campground, I wouldn't really feel I would need it at all, but never say never, right? You just don't know. There's lots of campgrounds around here. You can be 2 feet away from, neighbors, and I don't really like that kind of camping. The kind of camping I do requires pooping in the woods, and you don't have power, so you have to learn to live with nature, in nature, and that's my favorite kind of camping. So in a nutshell, that's the technology I bring. I've got other things. I bring a shovel to dig a fire pit, and I have a saw to cut up dead wood and things like that. But this isn't that type of video. I just wanted to show you mainly the technology that I bring when I'm out and about camping. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, think about liking, subscribing, and sharing. I love it when you share. Drop me a comment. Let me know what you think. You can dislike it if you want. It doesn't really matter either way. This particular channel is mostly technology based, but I do have, lifestyle videos and videos about life in general and things I do. I'm hoping to expand some of your horizons a little bit. You could do a skip on this one if you wanted to, I suppose. Whichever. You can see behind me the sun's almost setting. So I've got my fire pit dug, I got my wood. I think I'm going to get ready for the evening. I'll see you next time on Fast Gadgets.